Hello, good morning, and beepity beep beep. Good morning. There's an alarm going off because that's what time it is.
Baby!
Teen baby. Welcome to your AEW Dynamite review with Jeff and Ryan. I am Jeff, and that is Ryan.
Yes, it is. I am Ryan. You know what it is. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Also, if you haven't already, check out our AEW All Elite Crate unboxing, which is where this shirt came from this past month that we just did. So don't forget to check that out as well. In honor of the news that we'll get into later about what Tony Khan's huge announcement was, figured I put this on.
I heard his announcement was huge.
Huge announcement.
It was big though.
It was phenomenal. It was great. It was everything that you want, and I'm assuming we're going to get the Undisputed Elite, only because of how things went. But we'll get into that.
So it was live tonight from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh.
If you're from the Philadelphia area, we understand Pittsburgh as the armpit of our state.
Yes.
Y'all stink.
Stank.
Like stink.
Sorry, we're on the
I said it.
PA, so
next week it's going to be louder. I mean, not as loud because we're not going to be there, but it'll be loud.
Well, because they come into Philly next week. Still trying to figure out
without us, but it's a thing. We won't talk about it. Okay. We're just going to say it's coming from an unknown city next week because
it's a known unknown. It's a sad day.
You son of a bitches.
So it's the first time we've missed three times I've come here. So.
Yeah, and I even got to Atlantic City for that one. So I was like 4 for 4, and this will be my first ever missed AEW event. So it's going to be different. It's going to be different. But tough. I feel like they'll come back around in a few months. I mean, if we were Chicago, I would definitely wouldn't have been able to figure it out.
If what?
I said if we lived in Chicago, I would have had 7 shows already because they've given them 422 shows so far.
But they also put them in bigger arenas, and it's just
the Wells Fargo Center is really nice.
Put in the Wells Fargo Center, I'm pretty sure you would get a lot more people going.
You'll sell it out. It's a big market for wrestling. You would sell out the Wells Fargo Center.
Yeah, over Temple, over the Liacouras Center. No, people don't like to go down to the Liacouras Center. I mean, it just is what it is.
Yeah, it's not as fun. It's not as nice.
It's not as easy parking. It's just
the parking's bad. Shot to shot ratio is a little bit different. It's not always the best.
It's not the best part of town.
So let's get on to this goddamn show, right? So it's live from Pittsburgh, and what do you think opens up the night? As always, AEW opens up hot.
What's the CM Punk match? As always,
we get CM Punk versus the only Rhodes in AEW, Dustin Rhodes.
The best Rhodes in AEW, and only best.
He doesn't need adrenaline in his soul.
No, man, he's still going at 53 years old, and he's still. I'm telling you, man, he looks the best he's ever looked. I mean, this is an exciting match.
It was a hell of a match,
and that knee. That hurt. That hurt us watching it. Like,
yeah.
My body started aching after I saw him fall through the ring and hit that knee wrong. I was like,
It is nuts when you're like, yep, that's how I would be feeling. I'd be feeling the same way as you, Dustin.
So we probably won't see Dustin for a while, but no, I mean that was a phenomenal match. It was a great match between the both of them.
Mm-hmm.
They have their spots. There's my thing.
CM Punk got the win in the end with a sit down roll up move.
Yeah, it was
this match was made because he wants to wrestle, but mainly I believe this was all made for the situation that happens post match when Punk is walking up the ramp, and all of a sudden we hear that damn music of the cowboy.
Cowboy shit. Cowboy
and you
shit.
hear ding, 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 and you're like, oh shizzle. So it looks like that is indeed setting up the feud that everybody wants, and that is going to be CM Punk going for the AEW World Title against Mr. Hangman Page. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready, but I also want to know, did you notice that, I mean, unless they changed the sides tonight, but a lot of people came out of the heel side tonight. Like,
I think they changed the side because I was like paying close attention to it, and
well,
everybody came out the damn
side, but also Hook came out that side later.
Well, Hook is kind of a heel.
But CM Punk and Dustin aren't. They came out the heel side.
So I don't know. Then I guess they're all baby faces.
I was very, very confused. I was quite confused tonight. It was like they really only used that one tunnel for the most part, I thought.
Maybe it was a structural issue, like that they
Because
built the
then
two and then like it was funky. It was like, oh, maybe we got to use
Page came
this
out
one.
that side, and then the next match, which we'll get into, the one guy came out that side, and the other guy didn't. I'm going blank, but I mean, I'm excited for this. I'm excited, and as long as Hangman retains, I'll be okay.
Yeah, yeah. I don't blame you there. I don't know, but see, I don't know how people will
He's
receive
had
it
a good reign. I
because
mean, he's had a really good reign as
his matches are not they don't miss. Like Hangman puts together championship matches that are memorable, and he puts together matches that stipulation, no stipulation is something you want to watch. Like so. I mean, I feel again this is another one of them ones. Maybe a little bit more than the Adam Cole feud, but whoever wins, I'm happy with. I
yeah.
think either way, you're getting something. The only thing I could see Hangman losing the title for is Forbidden Door before or after.
After Forbidden Door, it's June 26th, I think it is.
Okay, so I could see him returning to this that elite dynamic. So like for this because it's kind of I know it's called Forbidden Doors between and
It's between New
Federal.
Japan and
Yeah,
AEW. I'm telling you, we're gonna see. I'm telling you, we're gonna see the Undisputed Elite take on the Bullet Club. I think that's what's gonna end up coming to at the end.
like I understand that that's what would happen, but I honestly believe you're going to see the full elite, obviously minus Cody. But I could see Hangman jumping back in to that feud to really bring like that into the fold. And if you have that, you don't want the AEW champion to be the reason for that. So if he dropped the title, I feel like it would be for some sort of reason for the Forbidden Door pay per view to be a
If he
bigger
drops
move.
the title, he will, because I honestly don't think they're gonna put title versus title at Forbidden Door. Although they could. I mean, they could. I don't think that's what's gonna happen.
No.
But because they had defended the United States title on AEW, right? That's what it was. The New Japan.
Yeah, the U.S. title was the one
US
with
title,
the Mox had
yeah, Mox had that. Lance won, and he lost. But
immediately.
where was I going with that?
I don't know.
If that's what I was. Sorry. If Hangman loses, he will have the shortest reign in AEW champion history.
Right.
So
Yeah,
Jericho
I mean, obviously, I know
Jericho right now is the shortest at 182. So if you have him lose at Double or Nothing, which is the pay per view coming up, which is what they're building to, he would be under that, which would give him the shortest reign out of all of the champions so far.
And I don't know. I just think it depends because you don't want to wait too long to pull the trigger on like a CM Punk title reign. And we honestly still I don't know how it would even go. I don't know if we're going to get like a heel Punk out of this, like, or is it going to be babyface Punk champion, like, or will it be, or do you have Adam retain and it really like um sets his title reign where it's like even if it's not the longest, the competitors he faced raised his level in general. Like if he's the guy who beats Danielson, he beats Omega, and he beats Punk. That's and Cole. You're getting a very good. I think then you get a good title reign, maybe not by length, but by quality defenses. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I agree. It'll be interesting. If the whole plan was to make him the shortest reigning champion, which we've talked about before, and I thought they would be doing that to him at the beginning, but I think his reign has been really well put together. It's been, like you said, it's been high profile matches. I mean, the match he had against Dante Martin was phenomenal.
Of course.
For a TV match coming off pay per view to defend the title again, and in a really good match. I mean, that showed a lot, and it just showed what more he's capable of that they really haven't been showcasing. So,
oh yeah, 100%. And I think so. I think that's where you're gonna it's a lot to look into as far as that goes. But I believe that you're gonna get something of quality out of him regardless. So we'll
yeah,
have to see where it goes. But I'm intrigued by this the direction for the championship going into Double or Nothing. Next up on our little agenda, here
So
the
you're
following match is, well, actually, but CM Punk wins.
you forgot
So we
Wardlow.
get the old. This is the Wardlow enters the arena, and right away he's met by Mark Sterling and security from AEW.
600
Um,
security people.
it was a lot. That was a lot.
It's like 30
So
people. It's crazy.
basically, they tell them when he comes in, he has to have security around him, and he needs to be handcuffed up until he
His match,
goes. Yes,
and then
Sterling had
out
a
the door.
message from MJF, which he's told Wardlow, "Eat pig," and then Wardlow replied, "Oink oink, bitch."
Yeah.
Um, but then Wardlow goes to his locker room, and then we head to the ring for the next match, which is the next match, which is ironic. I thought it was pretty funny in its own way. So the Blackpool Combat Club goes up against it was Lee Moriarty, the hometown boy, Dante
Yep.
Martin, and Brock Anderson with Arn. Um, did you notice that Danielson finally had a logo on his shirt um, instead of old plain white T-shirt
Yeah.
Danielson?
Yeah. I
But
saw
his was
BCC.
white. His shirt was white. Everybody else's was black because the man refuses to use anything but a white T-shirt.
Yeah.
So Yuta comes out in really cool new gear. I
Right. The
really dig
blood,
his
like
gear.
the white paints with the blood on it.
Mm-hmm. It has like the red blood with the BCC on it.
Yeah. That was pretty. I like that too. I thought they did a really good job with him.
Yeah,
In
they
that
really they
outfit.
really repackaged him to be like he's not the guy in the Best Friends. He's
Yeah, and he's
this
really
dude.
over with the crowd. I mean, the
Yeah,
back-to-back weeks, man, the crowd is going
which makes
crazy for him.
that does make me sad for next week because he is our hometown boy, and so what Philadelphia will bring for Wheeler Yuta next week is, I think you have to have him scheduled in a match just for the fact that that's Philadelphia, Pennsylvania's own Wheeler
Yeah,
Mother effing Yuta.
yeah, that's right. And again, we're not going to be there. So
I mean, the unknown city they're going to be at next week.
we're not going to be able to give like they're going to get a 10-man tag with the Undisputed Elite taking on Brock Anderson. These three guys that are in this match, along with I think Big Shotty's in it and somebody else. But like, sorry, I'm sad. I remember more thing. Anyway, yes, the Blackpool Combat Club go in and basically just attack him right off the bat. Obviously, Lee Moriarty being the hometown boy of Pittsburgh, they gave him some spots. The crowd loved.
He always looks good though.
The spots he had. It was the best part. I think was when they were all in the ring and they each were putting a submission hold or beating each other, beating the one up. So like, I think Danielson grabbed Lee and stomped his head in.
Oh yeah, and the other two are doing those the shoulder smashes.
Yeah, the shoulder smashes with the arms.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were all beating the heads in of everybody. I thought it was great. And then they got out the ring, and Mox does the
super duper. I call it the super duper paradigm shift.
the extra
paradigm suplex.
That's what it was, and takes him out, which was I think it's 1-3. It was a quick match.
Took the pin, right?
I'm pretty sure it was Dante on that one. Yeah, that's what I was just looking at.
Yeah, Dante took the pin on that one from the paradigm shift. It was pretty easy peasy for them. Right now, they're just kind of. This is why I feel like there has to be trios titles coming, like because you're just showcasing so many multi-man matches now, where it's like there's so many 3 pieces. Like it just seems like there's no way around it. You can't just because then they're basically wrestling useless matches at that point because. If it's what does it matter that you're 24-0 in trios matches?
What's it matter that you just beat the undefeated Gun Club last week?
Right. Like does it count like Freebird rules? Like because my trio is 24-0, am I now the top team in the tag division? So you need to get trios titles.
We're waiting for the huge announcement. Ring of Honor had the trios titles always, didn't they?
They were the ones with it, I believe.
So
we'll see if they use theirs or if they use their own.
But I mean, they point out they didn't point out that Scala pointed out that the pure champion is Wheeler Yuta, but they really talk about it in his intro like they usually do. So
they're gonna have to anyway. I just we have to see where they're going forward with the Ring of Honor stuff and how they're going to get programming, because I believe it's not. They definitely confirmed it will not be on Sinclair, so they're going to need some kind of broadcasting company to
Pick them
actually
up.
take care of that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll have to see where they go with that. But yeah, this match was pretty obvious and to the point. There's nothing mind blowing from it. Then we head back to the Cutler Cam, and the Undisputed Elite looks very uncustomary for them. All black. They were all black, like they were at a funeral. Um, Kyle O'Reilly is really the only one to step up here and let them know like who they are. He said that they may have lost to the Jungle Cruisers, which had me peeing my pants a bit.
That was
Um,
dire.
and it was even funnier that Fish goes, "Wait, we lost," which
Yeah.
was he's always good with those one-liners.
Just
It's just
randomly
like he
pops in
looks
there.
goofy about right. So Cole, I think there's a lot to read into the next segment and a half with Adam Cole.
Yep.
So for anybody, like, first of all, for anybody who thinks like Adam Cole is buried in AEW and isn't the same guy from NXT, um, you guys again are forgetting that whole long-term storytelling aspect
You're
of
not
this whole
paying a
thing.
damn bit of attention, basically, is
Okay,
what we're trying to tell you.
so he said that's why I named this group the
Yes.
Undisputed Elite, because remember, Bucks, all your friends left. So
Mhm.
he's already dismissing,
But I'm here.
right,
Kyle's here. Bobby's here. Like he pointed it out.
but
This
he's
was
dismissing a
Kenny.
certain member of the Elite that you know ran this company.
Yeah.
So he then comes out with after. So we have this quick video package from
And he
Samoa
says, "Hey,
Joe,
I gotta be
Jay
somewhere."
Lethal, Satnam Singh, and
Yes.
Sanjay Dutt, basically highlighting their feud for the TV title.
Wait, was that in between here?
That's how it pops up on my thing. I don't know why. Because then I think they do the video package. They come back. Yeah, they do the video package. They come back, and it's the Shivani's with Tony Khan.
Okay, yeah, mine has it opposite. But yes, here
Yeah.
we go.
Then Tony Khan announces New Japan Pro Wrestling president Takami Obari. Um, then Adam Cole again pops up on the screen and says announcement this big, he should do it
Yes.
because he's one of the biggest wrestlers to ever wrestle in Japan. Again, that's another shot because everybody knows if there was one person who really should have introduced this, it should
Mm-hmm.
be the man who pretty much is the best, as Japan calls the foreigner, to ever wrestle in Japan, and that's Kenny Omega.
Yes, but it gets better. It gets better because then somebody else comes out and says something else.
So
And you
then
go,
he announces that someone's here to say hi. And then bang, here comes Switchblade now. So now it's about the Undisputed Elite and the Bullet Club.
Mm-hmm.
So Switchblade now is saying that he is the one who sold out Madison Square Garden, which he did in the last one. And said it's between it's Undisputed Elite and Bullet Club versus the world, basically, is what it seems to come to. But he's saying that it's still their era, which is his tagline. But
Yes.
at the end of it, it's a lot of shots at Kenny Omega,
It was definitely shots at Kenny.
which I feel like by June, Kenny's going to be back. And I
Hopefully.
think he's going to play a huge role in this.
He was supposed to be back, but because of COVID, that pushed back his surgery because he ended up getting COVID in the beginning of the year, I think it was. And so that pushed back his surgery. So, I mean, he's on the cusp of that June 26th date. I'm hoping Forbidden Doors when he makes his reappearance and just takes out all of the Bullet Club.
But
But
because I could see that's where you would see the potential divide of the elite and the undisputed elite. Because then what the hell do you call the undisputed elite if half the elite leaves?
you call him the Undisputed.
The undisputed, not that era. So
The Undisputed. You leave it as Undisputed. You drop the air. You don't need the air there. Just call him the
there's just
Undisputed.
undisputed.
I
But
mean,
this segment was huge. So obviously we glanced over the obvious of it is there will be in Chicago, Illinois.
of
Surprise.
course, Chicago.
I get it, but come on, man. Like
It's the biggest market, but like I'm still
Jesus
saying, Wachovia Center
Christ.
could have sold that out.
Yeah, but it feels like they don't go anywhere else. Like it just feels like they don't go anywhere. Like
It's Las Vegas. It's Las Vegas, Nevada, and it's Chicago. That's where
Right.
all the
Like
players
everybody gets the
place.
Dynamites, but then you're gonna like outside that it's like it's like oh pay-per-view, it's either gonna be Chicago or Las Vegas.
I'm pretty sure
Like
it hasn't been anywhere
give us
else.
a damn chance, man. Give anybody a damn chance.
Double or Nothing, I think they always said was always going to be the home of.
And I'm okay with that, like for one of your 4 pay-per-views, but like it doesn't mean and I'm assuming All Out has to be in Chicago, right? Is that a
Yep,
thing?
that's the other
Right?
one. Those
So
were the
now
two.
you're also giving them this one. You know, you're just and the thing is I think personally that it's been making the product suffer because when you see something enough, you do become a little bit more immune to it. You've noticed the last few, in my eyes, you've noticed in the last few weeks, you've seen crowds that are popping a lot hotter than
Yeah,
usual
like New Orleans went crazy last week,
because it's like their first chance to see them live at all.
where Chicago's like, and they're there
Chicago's like
all
this
week.
is like towards the end of that run there where they had when CM Punk first signed. They had like 6 shows in Chicago in like 3 weeks.
Yeah,
By like the last one, it sounded like they were asleep because
yeah.
it's not their fault. It's just like, oh yeah, I saw this last week. Saw this last week. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's like some Sixers games you'll go to, and some of them are hot. You know, some of the crowds are like on fire.
Like that game
Some
when
you'll
they
go and it's a
got by
somber ass.
Embiid.
It's somber, even if they're winning. It's somber. You know, like
Yes.
because you see 40 something games a year. And you know for season ticket holders it's becomes like an old hat looking thing,
Yep.
and I think you can do the same. You know, you can wear out a crowd the same way with something like that. Like, you know, when it comes once a year, you're just like, oh awesome, I can't wait to, you know, like even us, like Philly, I think for the most part is we still do get used more because we've already had one this year. You know what I'm saying? So we've already had a 2022 Dynamite here.
Well, we are about to. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, our what was the last one? October. So like you're
October.
less than 6 months apart,
Yeah.
which is good, but it's not. You know, it's not Chicago every 3 weeks. They're getting something like it's like I get it, but it's the same as Daly's place. Like during the pandemic, it was a necessary thing, and I understand like the homecoming and the this and the that, but you need to get away from it for a little bit because they got buried with two
And
years of shows.
I'm pretty sure All Out is only like a month or two after that pay-per-view anyway.
Right. So
Right? Because we have Double or Nothing, and then it's All Out in like
it's usually 2 months unless they pushed it
September.
back to like separate the thing a little bit. But
I'm pretty sure All Out was always in September. So
I thought it was too. So we'll have to see where that goes. But it's just I get it, but at the same time, you
well,
don't
dude,
want
I
to
mean, look,
kill a
May,
market.
the end of May is Double or Nothing, and literally a month and a half later, you're talking not even a month and a half. You're talking what 29 days later? Because
Right.
I think it's what May 29th is Double or Nothing, and then not even a month later in June, you're having this pay-per-view. So you're asking people to spend basically $100 in 2 months.
Exactly. And it's just I don't know. I just think that you guys got to move away from Chicago, Illinois once in a while. And I get that you have a good relationship and can probably make it happen a lot more often. But all right, let's settle down.
I
Like
would like a pay-per-view. I mean, I was like
yes,
one pay-per-view. And I like
um,
to be back on Saturdays. They were really good on Saturdays. I'm sorry,
yeah.
but Sundays don't work for me.
But again, with the news itself outside of the city, um, I thought that that's going to be an incredible card. Um, and just like you just right away think, okay, who is Danielson getting? You know, like
Right? Yeah.
who is like
Well, or
Moxley? I feel like
who is the
Moxley
Blackpool
is still
Combat
getting
Club going up against?
Tanahashi because that's been sitting, hasn't that basically been sitting on the edge for the last 2 years?
You can literally do a 6-man. You can do the Blackpool Combat Club against three of
You could, but I think they're going to do solos. I think you're going to get a lot more solo matches because you want to see Danielson in a clinic with somebody, whether it's Okada, whether it's Osprey. Like there are plenty of people there I want to see him in a solo match with. And Mox, he has enough history there that he'll drum up
I think
something
we'll
with
see Eddie.
somebody
I mean,
quick.
look, Friday night that we didn't mention, Cole is taking on Ishii on
Right.
Rampage.
Jesus
Like
Christmas, by the way.
for the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Like that's
that's already going to be huge.
That's a phenomenal match. Like that's how they're going to start off. Like you go bring Ishii in. Like that's
what I think you're going to see a lot more influence of that. Like, do you get CM Punk maybe going 1-on-1 against Kenta. Finally, the battle of the GTS.
Yes, Kenta.
Because Kenta has been saying, "Bring me CM Punk," and so I could see that being a very good match.
That's a match. That is a
So,
match. Kenta, CM Punk. Let's
so you
take it.
get Kenta, CM Punk. You can get Danielson, Okada. You can get Kenny Osprey, or again, you can do Kenny and Okada. We love that match, and no one will ever
Yeah.
complain about another
I mean,
Okada Omega, which I would honestly do that if I was going to do it. As much as I want to see Danielson and Okada,
give me
I
Danielson
perfectly
Osprey. I mean,
being
I'm cool with that
you can
too.
do right Danielson Osprey, and you headline the card once again, like with common sense in mind here, with a classic Omega Okada match,
I mean, who
and
wouldn't
let
love to
them
see
do
that
what they
again?
always do.
Like that, those matches are just iconic in every sense of the way. Like
And it's a match you didn't know if you'll ever get again. With
fantasy booking out the window.
just send that
We
SA,
could do. Listen, at the end of the day, we could do an entire pod just on fantasy booking that
and
Forbidden
we
Door
will
pay
at
per
some
view.
point.
Just because.
Right.
But in the meantime, let's get through the rest of this pay per view because we could literally talk about this forever. And right after this, we get Wardlow taking on the Butcher.
Butch.
And as Butcher comes out to his music, but MJF gets on the mic and goes, "No, pig, you don't come out to your music. You got to walk to the ring." Walks to the ring, his handcuffs. Took them forever to take the handcuffs off of him, by the way, which is hilarious.
Yeah, he was struggling with that second
He
handcuff.
didn't know how to take off handcuffs. That was great. But basically, Butcher had some offense, showed that he was strong, and he pushed Wardlow into the ring apron and basically hurt his back a lot. And then he looks like he's going to beat him. He goes to pick up a powerbomb, basically falls because he couldn't lift him.
Yep.
And then he got like the one count. And that pissed Wardlow off. He got a powerbomb him 4 times, if I want to say correctly.
Yes, he went into full symphony.
And beat him for the 1, 2, 3 and gave MJF a kiss as he walked out blew him a kiss as he walked out.
Yes, and as usual, the security came back. They put the cuffs back on, and they went to commercial. Following commercial, Eddie Kingston is backstage and says on Rampage, it's Daniel Garcia versus Eddie Kingston with all of Joss and all of Lax banned from ringside. So it's just 1-on-1 with the great one. So it's going to be Eddie Kingston, Daniel Garcia on Rampage. That will be a banger.
That will be a fantastic match. Can't wait to see that. Then we jump into singles match for the men's
Owen Hart qualifying match.
And it was 2 guys that are in a tag team.
Yes. But you kind of assumed who would take the win here.
Yes, the Canadian
because you're not going to put your tag team champion in a solos thing.
Well, that and also the Canadian Kyle O'Reilly. I mean,
Yes.
you're going to give it. I'm sorry, but you're going to put a Canadian in there. You got to.
So you get Jungle Boy Kyle O'Reilly,
which, by the way, was a phenomenal singles match. I mean,
really
these guys can go. These guys can work. People who don't know what Kyle O'Reilly can do. I mean, we've seen Jungle Boy in over 100 matches. But O'Reilly can go. And
I also like that during this match, JR decided to use the O'Reilly's Auto Parts song to say Kyle O'Reilly's name. He said, "Oh, O'Reilly."
Yep.
And I know Excalibur wanted to say Auto Parts, but he didn't. Because that would have been the way you should have done it. But
that would have been great.
But I always get a little giggle by some of the JR isms, whether it's one where he sounds like the cranky old man who's like, "Get in there and do your job, ref," or something where he knows that the O'Reilly Auto Parts thing is funny.
Yes, he does. It was
and
good.
He just does his thing.
This
match in general was incredible. Great match. I didn't understand that the finish was a flying knee to the back, and that was all that was needed to put down the Jungle Man.
Yeah, it was the ending was a little odd to me as well. But again, you got to see O'Reilly win, which again, not a singles guy to win this match, but it was interesting. I was interested in the finish. The finish kind of just like appeared out of nowhere. I was kind of surprised. I thought he was kicking out, and then it happened. I'm like, oh wait, that's it.
I think a lot of people.
And then I thought Christian was going to go turn on Jungle Boy at the end there because he apologized, and I thought I
There's a
thought
slow
Christian was
burn on
going to
that.
hit him with it. I thought he was going to take him out.
I think there's a slow burn on that. I think either A, Jungle Boy's going to have like a few weird losses, or they're going to lose the tag titles, and somehow Christian is either going to cause the loss, or after the loss, he's going to turn on them
I mean,
because, like,
I know they're not WWE in that sense where they always break up teams, but I just thought like this may have been the option right here. But again, we'll see. I mean, for all we know, Christian could be in a qualifying match down the
I mean,
line.
yeah, because you still keep together
Jurassic
you get
Express
the
and
Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, but like you would just get the whole because Christian came in out of nowhere anyway.
yeah,
So having him leave wouldn't be like, oh no, now there's no such thing as Jurassic Express. It was Jurassic Express before he showed up.
yeah, exactly.
So I think you could see that, and then that'd be a huge angle with a heel Christian. Hopefully, he does not become some kind of a demon who uses purple lights and recruits Damian Priest. That's all I'm asking.
It could just happen. But at the end of this match, I want to say I could be wrong. They also announced next week that we're getting another men's qualifying match, and it's FTR against each other.
Yes, it is, and it took me a minute to really catch that.
I saw the graphic, I heard it, and I'm like,
Because at
oh.
first I was like, wait, is there a tag team one too?
And then I looked at it again, and they're taking on each other. I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah, I caught it with then I went on Twitter after the show to kind
that
of
would be a great
gauge where
match.
everything was. Dax put, yes, you might not have heard that with all of the things that Excalibur had to say,
I
but it's
heard.
one night only, never happening again.
Yes.
Dax versus Cash.
I heard that, I saw that, and I got excited and all at the same time. Like, wait, that's happening? Like,
Right. So I was like,
I
oh,
need this match. That's going to be a clinic in itself. Those two
yeah, I
guys
was extremely excited about that.
and I mean it'll be a fantastic match. I cannot wait to see that. But that was the graph that appeared after that. Then we had Alex Marvez backstage with MJF. Jeff's buddy.
This had me dying. So Marvez is saying he almost said that Wardlow or that the Butcher couldn't get the job done. He was interrupted immediately by MJF, who was then settled down by Spears, saying, "Whoa, big man!" And then he went into his newest diatribe of who he's going to pay, and he says he's a snake, which obviously bring in Jake the Sweaty Snake Roberts. That man was sweating like he just did cardio. I hope he's okay, to be honest with you, health wise, because he was dripping.
Health issues.
Yeah, he was dripping hard. So Jake is doing his again. This is another part I found was subtle, but it had me dying. He's doing his huge promo with about how he's chasing the money, and Lance Archer just shoots the hell out of nowhere, and knocks
throws
him
him, throws him out the way.
And you hear Jake Roberts in the background. Oh, come on, man!
Yeah.
Like what the hell? I needed that cash.
That's my money. And then Scorpio's getting ready to pick it up. That was great.
Yeah, he basically hits the. He screams in the camera. Everybody dies. I just want to fight, and so we'll get Archer. So we're basically gonna get big men trying to beat up Wardlow. Is what I guess.
Which I mean, there's not many left, honestly.
It's like the test of Jericho. Remember, like the test of.
Yeah.
I think they're just doing that, but like.
Without the test part, him just paying people.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bunch of big guys beating him up or trying to beat him up, and then at the end of the day, it's gonna be, no more left to run for MJF, and I think Tony Khan will get in there and sign a match and say, if you win, you get a contract and you get out of MJF's agreement.
There's gonna be some sort of lawyer-esque type of input here, but it was. It's interesting. I mean, that's the path they're going, definitely. So they're gonna start paying people off. So who's next after this? We'll see. But it was.
I don't know who else.
Huh?
Maybe next we'll say, "I'm a dinosaur, Luchasaurus." Yeah.
It's got to be the villains. Obviously, got to pick up the villains. So I'm not sure who else, because again, Cage isn't there really anymore. I mean, go Hobbs, I guess. I mean, you could do a Hobbs, put in payoff. Team Taz wants the money type of deal.
I can see that.
But then, by the way, I didn't notice this until today because I'm old and don't care. Hook debuted on Dynamite.
He did.
On 420.
Yeah, it made a lot of sense.
It made perfect sense. I did, but again, I'm old. I don't do that stuff. I thought it was hilarious that's when they ended up debuting on Dynamite, and it happened to be on that day.
Yeah,
Where
the guy who's just continuously eating potato chips.
yes,
And is very mellow. God damn, I have a lot of alarms, guys.
so
So yeah, so he debuts here. And to no surprise to me, but probably a surprise to many others, this match, this segment, because the match was obvious. He played his hits and he did his business to get out of there. That's what Hook does.
yeah,
Um, but
Just Buddy was here.
when the man, the myth, the legend pops out and again attempts to curse Hook, it does not work. So Danhausen again, right out of the tries to get him right on out of right when he's doing his head pounds.
Yep,
As usual, pure focus by Hook. Hook finishes him off,
puts the
hits him
red
with the
rum
red
on and
rum,
calls it a day.
done. But then
Your boy was very, very brazen here.
he was not having it. He comes in the ring, he screams at Hook
He
and
was
says, "If
very
you
evil
won't,"
at this point.
his very evil side is coming out. He said, "If you will not be cursed by Danhausen, you will fight Danhausen." And then he put his finger on his chest and then immediately realized what he had done, took his own hand off of his chest.
He struggled
Hook
to
just
take his hand off
walked
his
through
chest.
him. And then, so I'm guessing the first feud we're going to get, like a feud for Hook, is Danhausen.
Or at least the
And
first
I'm
match for
down for it
Danhausen.
because I'm telling you, Danhausen's very good in the ring. It's going to give you the Orange Cassidy vibes, where when he first got here, people were going, "This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. This guy just puts his hands in his pockets and says nothing."
Mm-hmm.
That's the same with Danhausen. He wears face paint just around the eyes, and that's his thing. He
I
only puts
know,
on
I
human
know.
paint from time to time, but like he's this guy who has this crazy voice, and he just goes oh like a bunch of times, and you think, wow, this guy is strange. But we also thought that the guy who wore a jean outfit, wore like a Canadian tuxedo, generally every day, you thought that's very strange, and then he started to wrestle, and you're like, oh, he's also very
Mm-hmm.
good at the wrestling thing.
So we have to
And
see
AEW
Danhausen soon.
doesn't sign many gimmicks without wrestling attached to said gimmicks.
Yeah, that is
So
true.
when you see this match, you'll be surprised, but Danhausen can do a thing or two. So it will be a very fun match whenever that does happen. Let me just send this so I don't forget. Yes. Okay. So yeah, so that segment and there was a pop and a half for them two standing in the ring. For Hook and Danhausen standing eyeball to eyeball, it actually really it popped the crowd pretty hard.
The crowd, like I said, but again, it's a crowd that hasn't seen it, but they know the wrestlers, they know what they can do because, again, majority of AEW fans know Ring of Honor, New Japan, like all of these fans all know the other promotions and what these people can do.
Yes. So after this, it's segment before we even get another damn match. I think it's 4 segments from what I'm seeing here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 segments before we get our next match, which is the second to last match
I
anyway.
only see
So
2 segments, so go ahead.
so we have we get the Kazarian is backstage with Tony Schiavone. He's about to call out the TNT champ, Seme. And Scorp comes up to interrupt, and you're starting to see like a thing here where it looks like Scorp is turning face.
I think they turned
And
the yeah.
and so he asked Kazarian if he could just hold off on his title challenge so that he can get his revenge
And then
on
as soon as he
Sammy.
wins it, he'll give him his match.
Exactly. So they shake hands. We hit commercial. Come back. We have a video package highlighting Thunder Rosa and Nyla Rose battle the belts this past Saturday, where Thunder Rosa is basically saying everything now is double or nothing. So we will, I guess, next week they will start the next feud for Thunder Rosa and her AEW Women's Championship. Then we have the big segment of the night. Take it away, young man.
The next segment of the night, this is the Sammy Guevara one.
That's what I have, yes.
And he loves it right now. He loves he's on top of the world, blah, blah, blah. Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page, and Dan Lambert they appear on the screen, right? They didn't come out to the ring. They came out to the top of the ramp, I think it was. Yeah, top of the ramp. At the top of the ramp, Sky says, "You want to screw all the fans who supported you? It's not screw us, Sammy. It's screw you. The fans don't like Sammy.
Sammy
They
Rhodes.
they don't
right?
like the new. They don't like the new. The new hated couple, basically." And he says he wants his match next week. Basically, it comes down to because Lambert goes, my grandfather said, "Youth is wasted on the young." You are a perfect example of that, Sammy. You get to make one more chance tonight, young man. Give Sky his rematch, or I send Paige and Sky into the ring. Obviously, talk about Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. And Sammy says he'll give you the rematch, but on one condition. They want that mixed tag match with Paige Van Zandt. And Lambert, of course, says done. So next week, we are getting, which I didn't hear at first. I saw it afterwards. I missed Sammy saying this. We are getting a ladder match with Scorpio Sky and Sammy Guevara for the title.
That's going to be a hell of a match.
So we get to see basically the new Cody Rhodes take on Scorpio Sky. The new hated couple. I mean, they're turning Sammy down this path. I mean, he came out with what? He came out with a Seth Rollins-esque robe on. That's all I want to say about that. That was like,
yeah, I guess they're. I mean, it's smart if you're going to lean into it. Like, just lean into this thing as like, yes.
I wanted to lose the title. No offense, but I want to lose the title. I want Scorpio to take the title. I do.
Yes, me too. I don't know. It's they just gotta watch out what they're doing here because Sammy's very good, but this stuff can become Cody annoying, and then when it becomes Cody annoying, it's very hard to work yourself back out of it. You know what I'm saying?
People, but see, Cody didn't want to go the heel face route. He just wanted to be the middle part. Sammy's taking on the heel route. Like,
oh, I agree there. I agree.
Like Sammy's at least willing to go that length, whereas Cody just kind of teetered in the middle every time. Yes. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see. This could turn something. I mean, but it does look like that somehow America Top Team is turning semi-face. Definitely more in the middle, but it definitely looks like Scorpio Sky maybe having second thoughts about it. So we'll see how that goes. Then we had the Britt Baker and Daniela Kamela.
Daniela
Kamela, yeah. They said Danielle Kamela tonight, but on Dark they said Daniela Kamela. So that's how I remembered it from the night before. So it was interesting. You had this women's match, and Britt came out with
Najee Harris.
2 players from the Steelers.
Yeah. Najee Harris was with her, and
yes, it was Najee, and I can't remember the guy.
I don't know who the fucking other guy is, to be honest with you.
I don't remember. But basically, it was actually a pretty good back and forth match. They actually gave Daniela Kamela some offense here.
Yeah.
But Britt won with the lockjaw with a Pittsburgh Steelers glove.
Which is smart.
Which the fans went crazy for.
Yes.
She did her promo at the end.
She kind of she went after like the entire women's division, which was pretty funny. So she
obviously goes to Ruby Soho.
She goes after Ruby, calls her a Cabbage Patch Kid.
Mm-hmm.
She says about Tony Storm, if you think that pie in the face is bad, wait until your face is on the bottom of the mat or whatever, and maybe you'll want to leave this company too. So hits her with a big bang boom. It also looks like Baker's going to be the. Do you think that they're going to have Britt actually be the one who dethrones Jade? Because she really goes in on Jade and the baddie section and all that.
You could tell she hasn't wrestled in a while because she was struggling to speak after that match, dude. She was huffing.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, I feel like that she's the one who's going to dethrone. If anyone's going to dethrone Jade Cargill, I mean,
because I could see it happening with like
it has to be an ex-women's champ at this point.
An interference of like for the Owen Hart because Red Velvet's in it, right?
Yep.
So I could see it Britt and Red meeting up. Somehow Jade costing.
Well, and what's her face, right?
The baddies is Kiera Hogan's not in it, is she?
No, not yet. But I mean, we still have time. Kiera Hogan could possibly be another person that's possibly in this match.
But one of them, whoever is in from the baddie section, which I'm assuming is going to be the name of the stable now, right?
Yes,
it's going to be called the baddie section.
And Red Velvet is in. She did.
Her and Kiera are both in it. So I think that you're going to have some way Britt's going to get screwed out of the Owen by one
Mhm.
of Jade's people, and so if one of the baddie sections gets her out, then you're going to start that feud, and at the end it's going to be Jade versus Britt, and Britt will be the first, I guess, Grand Slam Women's type champion since it's
I
the only
guess.
titles.
Again, if anybody's gonna do it, I feel it's gonna be an ex women's champ. It's gonna be
Right.
a Hikaru Shida, a Riho, a Nyla Rose, a Britt Baker. Like it's got to be one of them. You can't have. I mean, you could. I guess you could. Like you could have a Tony Storm um, do it because she can go. You could have a Ruby Soho do it. I just feel like if anybody, they're going to give a title back to Britt. I feel like that's where they'll go with it.
Yeah, I agree. So that's what I was kind of looking at because the way she kind of like she hit the division, but then she really went after Jade in the baddie section. So I'm assuming that's where they're going to go with that. But overall, it's cool to see Britt back. It's get let's get that rolling again with the women's division, and that was really all they had for that. And then we had the main event, but not the one that Mark Henry does. That's
No.
after. Um, so we get the main event, which is Andrade El Idolo versus Darby Allin in a coffin match. So right away from like Jump Street, the half of the damn Andrade family office is down there beating him up. We right away we get Blade and Mark Quinn. Um, they're fighting through the crowd, and hilarious. This is something that's happened before, but it's not in AEW. But so Quinn goes after a Sting fan who had a sign in the crowd, rips it apart in front of that guy's face. When he turns around, it's Sting in a Sting mask, which is always the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Greatest thing ever. It is.
So Sting in a Sting mask appears, and he starts to attack Quinn and Blade. Um, so he starts fighting in the crowd. Meanwhile, Sting and Darby are, they're going through the crowd with Andrade, Quinn, Blade, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then we get crazy Sting again, just losing his damn marbles for the 100th time. He goes up on top of the entryway for one of the floor sections again, and he leaps to his death for the 100th time. This guy really doesn't care being 60 something years old. He's literally just leaping.
He's looking great doing what he's doing. I gotta admit, man,
Yeah,
it's not he's not being used poorly. The moves don't look bad. I mean, he's
they're
doing
using him
dives that
just
look
enough. Like
great.
you're like, okay, I get it, and like, you're not putting him in a match every week. He's not sitting there like he's not 40-0.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, he's
he
undefeated, but he's not. Like I said, he's not 40-0. He's
he
tag
wrestles
match.
when he has to wrestle, and otherwise he just lets the young guy do their thing, which is
Mhm.
exactly what you need to do.
So
And it's helping Darby to this point.
yeah, I mean, it has. It's done a really good job, and I love how what was that Jose, right? That's his assistant,
Jose the assistant.
comes out to attack Darby.
Yes. And the dude's more ripped than half the wrestlers in the goddamn building. So,
Yeah.
um, Jesus Christ. I was like, this guy is a wrestler. And so I mean, I assume soon you're going to start seeing Jose in matches and stuff, but still, it was funny. So, they realized that the coffin that Darby brought with him, this very fancy coffin that will be on Ringside Collectibles probably
They
as an
do realize
exclusive pack.
they do have the coffin from the last match, right?
Yeah. So I could see them putting a new coffin out there because this one's very, very colorful and,
That
well,
other
not colorful.
coffin.
It's very artsy. Um, and there's tacks on the inside of it. There's tacks on the inside of the lid. I almost said the hood. Um, you know,
The
the
hood
hood
of
of the
the
coffin.
coffin.
um, of the lid of the coffin. So Andrade puts him through some brutal spots in this match. We
Oh yeah.
had the spot where he found that steel grate. Like actually, he suplexes him on the ramp first. Like after he carried him up the ramp backwards. That's how strong Andrade is. Um, you then from there he sees that side grate where the lights kind of are fixed for the stage, and he hits him with a very heavy. He just throws him back first onto that grate. Then he pulls him and starts dragging him down the ramp so he can put him in the coffin to end this thing. It did not happen because I believe somehow Darby hit him with a stun gun on like the ring
Yeah,
apron.
so he wanted to throw him onto the tacks. Then because he took so long to do that, Darby kicked out. He was carrying him on his shoulder. He did the stun gun, and then Darby dove out the ring and knocked him into the coffin.
Yes, he knocked him into the coffin. That's when Jose comes out to
Yep.
try to stop Darby from closing it. And then how did Darby get him on there? He kick him on there? Because Jose assistant flew into it. He didn't powerbomb Jose the assistant. Oh no, Jose assistant was going to powerbomb Darby. Darby then flipped him over his head instead. Jose lands on the tacks.
That's what he landed on the tacks.
He landed on the tacks on the lid. And then he like scurries away because he's all tacked up. And then I believe he just pushes Andrade in and then lays on it. Is that how it ended?
Yeah, he then closed the lid of the coffin while Andrade was inside of it, and Darby basically just laid on it like that was it. He didn't do a coffin drop off the top, which would have been like he did against Ethan Page.
Right.
He just laid on it. So my thing was, right, I don't remember the Hardys coming out to help at all, but yet they come out at the very end here to show their support.
Yes. Okay. So I haven't seen Battle of the Belts yet. So you would have to, because for some reason it doesn't show up on the TNT app yet.
I watched it.
And it doesn't automatically record on Xfinity because it's not Dynamite or Rampage. So it's hard to like tell them to record specials like automatically.
Yes.
Unless you like show them. So I haven't seen it yet. Was there any rift between the Hardys and Darby and Sting in that?
No, not that I recall.
Because the end of the show kind of just looked like they were staring each other off, like we're going to get Hardys versus Darby and Sting.
No, there was nothing that I noticed. It was just
because like, why did they come out and just start deleting the shit out of them?
They just deleted. The best was they're doing the delete, and Jeff Hardy's arm. He at the very end, he's like, "Shit, my arm, man, I can't keep doing that." He was like, "Oh."
But like, it seemed weird only because like they were staring each other down, not like congratulating.
Yeah, they weren't even really a part of it. They didn't do anything.
Very weird because I thought they were going to come out originally when they're like, all right, well.
Oh yeah, exactly. When you saw them all come out, but like, I guess you can't because Angelico isn't re-signing with, or not Angelico. Jack Evans isn't re-signing with AEW. Yes. I'm assuming Angelico won't either. So you've taken the Andrade family office down to just 3 of them, and Butcher already fought earlier in the night, so you weren't going to see him. And then we didn't see Isaiah.
As much as Isaiah hurt,
it was just Mark Quinn we saw. So
you're only getting like half a private party.
Yeah, I don't know. It was quite interesting to see, but then they came out did the lead thing and praised, basically showing their support to Darby.
Yes, but at the same time, it's like it had a little foreshadowing in there.
Well, I mean, because I think Darby still heads in on Jeff, because I think that's the match that they really want to do. So they're kind of leading into that more.
Yeah, you're getting the enigma of the past versus the new enigma. That was Dynamite for your 420 edition. So were you very high on this episode?
Every Dynamite episode I'm pretty high on. They do a great job, and they have been very, very consistent. It's been very high impact, very fast, it's been a very, very good show from the beginning. I mean, I really haven't had many issues with it, but they definitely hit this week as they have been. They've been hitting on all cylinders recently. It's been really, really good.
Yes, I agree. The only thing I'm going to ask of Tony Khan after this is, buddy, for the love of Jesus, just settle down with the announcements. I love them, but settle down.
I say don't settle down.
You don't want them to become boring. Like, oh, here he goes again. It must be a day that ends in Y. Like, shh, for a little bit. Okay,
keep the announcements coming.
Well, you don't need to be announcements. You can just surprise people.
He waited. He waited. What, it was a month since he bought Ring of Honor? Like, you know.
And he signed Mojo like 3 days ago. Just let it breathe, man. Let it breathe.
Listen, you can't. You got to keep it going. While you got the money, listen. They're on a hot streak to keep it going. This is why AEW is number 1.
Also, news tips from this post-episode, not Rampage related. So it's not a spoiler of any sort. It was confirmed last night that the video game will be called AEW Fight Forever.
It was confirmed after the show went off?
Yes. Okay. And that they did record footage last night for the console game itself. So they did some kind of taping for something that's going to be involved with the game. So there was a lot of stuff being done there in Pittsburgh. So the game is definitely getting closer, which is
Dude, that
very
means
exciting.
you're doing more taping on next Wednesday.
Yeah.
More
So maybe
sense.
they'll do more this Wednesday as well.
More sense for me.
So I'm
We're gonna
excited
figure it
now.
out.
That's
We're
you
gonna
put the
figure it
video
out.
game in there. We're done. It's game over.
We're figuring this out. We're gonna get to fucking Dynamite next week. Sorry.
You're like, I need this video.
Dynamite. So yeah, I mean, great episode. That's fantastic news. Can't wait to hear that. Friday night you get Adam Cole taking on Tomohiro Ishii. You'll get Eddie Kingston taking on Daniel Garcia. You'll get Jay Cargill taking on Marina Shafir to go for a 30-0 streak. Continue, and I'm assuming a squash match, which you're going to see Lance Archer, because we saw Butcher last week, so I'm assuming we're going to see Lance Archer in a squash match, because they always have 4 matches and one is always a squash match. So again, Butcher was his squash match last week to get ready for Wardlow. I'm assuming we'll see Lance Archer in a squash match this week to get ready for Wardlow. So there's 4 matches. I guess I could look it up real quick to see. Obviously, the spoilers are out. I don't want to see the spoilers, but
the match card is just Fightful has all of your results.
Yes, Lance Archer takes on Serpentico. There you go.
Oh yeah, that's what it is.
So Lance Archer can take on Serpentico, and that is your Rampage.
Yeah, so it's
night.
Cole Ishii, Archer Serpentico, Kingston Garcia, Jade, and Shafir. That is your match card for Rampage on Friday. And
I will be back tomorrow night to do that review, as always. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Anything else before we leave, Jeff?
Man, I don't have anything of note. Just please, guys, subscribe, like, hit the notifications bell so that you know that when we go live, we have a bunch of shows, and some of them are on all the time. But again, guys, check out our All Elite Crate unboxing. We just did it last week. It's very cool. We have a Adam Cole Baby shirt is in it. There's also a Hangman item. We have we received a lot of good items. It's right behind me on my left or right side. That's the last.
I got it right here next to me.
So it was a very cool crate. Get some good stuff out of it. So please come watch our unboxing, because we have very smiley faces, because we enjoy free. Oh, not free, but we enjoy surprise items.
Yes, we do.
So that's all we have. So until till Friday, we are out of here, folks. Thank you and good